Good Saturday morning. Welcome into Weekend Recharge. I'm LaRosa.
And I'm Paul Goodlow. It's time to pay for all the warm, sunny weather we enjoyed for most of this winter.
Our new winter storm, Estella, will come in 2 waves. Wonderful, and we count on those wonderful people to keep things going, right? And then we need to prepare you the best we can so that you know, maybe stay off those roads, help guys like that and gals who do their hard work to keep us moving. All right, I'm going to take over the wind story because this is going to be a huge wind producer. So let's take a minute to talk about what we're watching here. This is a Euro model forecast. We've located the benchmark. Remember, that's sort of forecasters' way of saying if that low hits that area or in it, that means a big snow for most of the Northeast. But you also notice the lines. These are lines of equal pressure, the isobars. When they're tightly packed, that means a lot of wind. So there's our area of low pressure developing, exploding. Look at that. It's inside the benchmark, a 980 millibar low by 11 o'clock Tuesday evening. What does that translate to? Widespread, huge winds. So we start early on Tuesday, already to 30-mile-per-hour winds in New York, up to 40, 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Boston. You see that continues through the afternoon, in fact, intensifying as those winds and that low pressure tighten up here. So we could have several hours of 50-mile-per-hour gusts in and around the Boston area. And then by Wednesday morning, as our storm pulls away, the winds ease. But at that point, some damage may have been done. Boston's a great example, a 12-hour period just about where winds are going to be sustained anywhere from 20 to 35 miles per hour. And Paul, of course, those gusts 50, 60, that's where we get into trouble with power outages and tree damage.
Yeah, perfect scenario for the storm. In fact, it's cold right now. It's going to stay cold.
I'll show you some of the impact here in parts of the Midwest and through the plains. I got to tell you, from Denver along that entire I-70 corridor, just about through Kansas City and into St. Louis, we're seeing a little bit of snow. So just make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of extra distance. We have a little bit of mixing north of Little Rock. That I-55 corridor, a little tricky too, from as you head through northern Mississippi and into Missouri area. You've got a little bit of everything on your journey. All right, so talk about a journey. What we're looking at here, some rain moving into the west. So we have what's happening now in through the Midwest, but then we have the power punch that arrives later and really kicks this storm into higher gear. So we start with tonight. It's Bismarck. That'll be sliding on down to the south tomorrow. So it's Minneapolis, Waterloo, Des Moines picking up on some of that snow, Sioux Falls as well. You get into Sunday night, Chicago in on some of this snow. Green Bay, Milwaukee, Kalamazoo, all the way southward towards Peoria, into Indianapolis, perhaps including Columbus, not so much Cincinnati just yet. By Monday night, some cooling temperatures, but by Monday night, we're starting to get this storm into high gear.
Reynolds, and hey, let's take a look at some timing here across the Twin Cities. We have snow coming our way as we head on towards tomorrow as well. The good news is it's coming on Sunday, so school is canceled.
Don't even put that out there.
Just Sunday. I mean, you're not
just Sunday. Guaranteed. All right. Don't count on how warm it's been to really help too much with the roadways. So 94, 94, not going to be fun late Sunday, even with the leftovers early on Monday.
Yeah, but again, it should move out by the time the rush hour starts. And we do snow removal pretty well here. So kids, yes, do your homework across the area. But Chattanooga, we got snow coming in as we head into early tomorrow morning.
All right, Oak Grove advice right there. It is 1:30 on Weekend Recharge. I'm LaRosa.
And I'm Paul Goodlow. Well, the Northeast could get crushed by its biggest snowfall of the season as we head into this coming week.
All right, Winter Storm Stella will come in 2 waves. The first one, if you've been winter fatigued, usually at this point in the year, you're like ready to move on. Well, we never really had that winter, so we're even more ready to move on. This is sort of that thing like, what is happening?
Why now?
Dr. Postel.
Couldn't have this been in January.
Right.
But it is coming our way, and Monday through Wednesday will be a very snowy time of it in the Northeast. Look at some of these snowfall forecasts. This is a lot. This is a blockbuster snowstorm.
Right. Now, the timing is Monday night through Wednesday night, but a lot of that coming late Monday into midday Tuesday for some of these areas. Again, New York, Philadelphia, and then on into Boston, where it's just going to keep on keeping on for much of the day.
You're exactly right, Maria. And one of the tricks in this forecast is often the case with coastal storms is how much snow actually is going to be right along the coast. If you look at our forecast here, which is actually a blend of a whole lot of models, it's not 1 or 2, it's a statistical blend of them. But the idea is that you go to some of these coastal locations, coastal New Jersey, Delaware, maybe even eastern shore of Maryland, you're not going to get nearly as much snow as you are, say, 30 or 40 miles inland. because you remove yourself somewhat from the influence of the east or northeast wind, the maritime air, which is going to tend to modify things a bit.
All right, this makes a difficult forecast when in about an hour's drive, say from the shore to Philadelphia, you go from maybe an inch to perhaps a foot of snow.
You're exactly right.
That's hard.
And what matters a lot is where that low, the main storm is going to be. Where is it going to be located? We don't know for sure. This map is kind of, it sort of, I would say, exemplifies the uncertainty still remaining in this forecast. These are some of the storm locations as simulated by the ECMWF model. They run a whole lot of model simulations to see if they can come up with some kind of understanding of the uncertainty in the forecast. But notice that those low pressure systems could be really anywhere in that zone. If they're closer in, that means more warm air gets to the coast and we have the mixture of rain and snow and the much less accumulations along the shore. If it's a little farther out, the cold air is a little bit closer to the beaches and we get pretty much all snow for everybody.
Right.
So which one of these ends up verifying is going to matter a lot.
Huge. But it's going to be a wind producer for sure. But there's, there are certain places where if it hits at the right spot, it is going to be that big snow producer.
And I would argue that there's a cluster here, if you blur your eyes a little bit, that is a little bit closer to the coast. So that would argue for a coastal hugger, allowing for maybe some mixture of rain and snow to be a prominent mode right along the beaches. But still, the probabilities of a foot are high in interior sections.
All right, we'll be right back.